Rise and shine. It's marketing time.
I love it. I love it. Hi, Bradley. How the heck are you?
Outstanding, but it'll get better. You?
Today's a little bit of a struggle for me because I woke up at 2:30 and couldn't get back to sleep. But hey, that's marketing, right?
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
the way of life. So
I was going to say, I'm not sure it's marketing. It just may be Wednesday.
It is. All sorts of good things going on the world. I just announced I'm going to do my next webinar. Plug.
Well, that's
coming up on Thursday next week.
That's awesome. What's it going to be?
It's on
Pardon me. You all right?
It's about thank you page magic, of course. And by the way, they're on the screen. If you go to mitchwebinar.com, you can sign up.
That's awesome.
That was really fast.
That's okay. It'll be up there a little bit later. And in all the excitement, a week from this Saturday is the first episode of the masterclass for viral marketing. So we got a bunch of people signed up, and then those folks that go through it the first time get it for free. I haven't decided whether or not I'll continue to keep it free because it's going to be pretty action packed, 7 sessions, and it's going to be pretty cool.
Cool.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I think I signed up. I think I was the first.
You did.
I like being first in anything. Did you know, by the way, that I was the very first guest on 5 different podcasts?
That's what you told me.
Yeah.
You were like the inaugural guest in so many people's famous adventures, right? I mean, you created their online persona.
And I believe none of them are still active, but that's a whole other story.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Oh, well. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, hey, good morning, everyone. We will do everything we can to get right on track here during the day-to-day. And I know that Mitch was typing a title very quickly as we were trying to get going. If you have questions or comments, pop them into the chat box. We love interacting with you guys. Even if you tell us that we're full of it, we're good with that. I mean, let's have a robust conversation. Sometimes we'll agree and sometimes we'll disagree, but what are we talking about today, Mitch?
Well, today's topic, thank you for asking, because I picked it.
Way to go. This is I do another podcast with a friend of mine. We just sort of pick topics out of a hat. So I dig it. It works for me.
Word of mouth marketing for local businesses. That is our topic today. I happen to know that Bradley is a real big guy on local business. But I also have in my Movers Mastermind a gentleman who is absolutely crushing it with word of mouth marketing in his local area. He has captured the market with a Facebook group, and everybody goes there to get the latest news.
That's awesome.
And he's got video business going on. He's doing marketing for them, and he's so busy he doesn't have time to show up to my mastermind. That's how busy he is.
You know what? And he's willing to pay for it every month, right? It's like,
exactly.
I'm so successful in all of the stuff you taught me, and I don't have to show up for class, but I'm still happy to pay for it. I dig that.
Yeah,
awesome.
I like it too.
So when you're talking about this local business, is a service provider, is that what you're talking about?
His original goal was to just start and be like local news, to have a group that he potentially could market from.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yep. It's evolved. He's now doing commercials on a small scale. He's, like doing the iPhone kind of live stream kind of commercials for businesses. He's of course running contests for them. And he's finally starting to charge a goodly amount because he used to charge virtually nothing, but that's what we all start out with, right? We all start going.
Yeah. Everyone's trepidatious about charging real money for real work. I get it.
I remember, by the way, speaking of old stories, the very first ad when I was running Planet 5D,
Yep.
my camera video blog, I charged
Yeah.
a whopping $25 a month for that one. 25 bucks.
Awesome. Way to go. Way to go. You were a bargain at twice the price.
I was. Those same spots eventually became $500 a month. So
yeah.
Just to let you know, we all typically undervalue ourselves when we get started.
For sure. For sure. So let me ask, because we're sort of in this realm for local businesses, what is your experience working with for local businesses? Kind of what is the history behind you and helping these other folks?
Well, so again, my experience is somewhat limited in this regard because most of the direct clients that I've ever worked with, I should say all, have been large, either national or international businesses. None of them that I have worked with directly have been local. However, okay. two or three of the members that were in my mastermind, a couple of them have dropped out. I know that's shocking, right? But they are local, and so I've been able to advise them and work with them to build their businesses. So awesome. That's where my experience is advising them as mentor.
That's cool. That's cool. So one of the reasons I was asking is not everyone has a passion for local businesses, and especially in this day and age with all of the technology and everything else, a lot of folks are like, "Why would I ever have a shop?" Right? I mean, why would I ever go and sign a lease, put out a sign, wait for people to come in the door? And I have a completely different perspective on this because I grew up in an entrepreneurial household.
You did.
You know, I mean, I could kind of say that I'm the son of a Fuller brush man. My dad actually started knocking on doors, selling Fuller brush, and over time, when I was about, let's see, I was about 7, 8, 9 years old. I was in a general store. My folks owned a store in a tiny little place in Arizona, and it was part of my job to help people find the stuff that they needed, be able to communicate about, you know, what they were trying to do, find them a good deal, and then walk them up to the cash register. And then in a couple of years, I ended up working on the cash register and learned a lot of lessons behind the cash register. Like if it came up short, it was coming out of my pay, and that's the way it worked for my dad. And then we came back to California, and my dad ended up owning a mailbox packaging kind of business, kind of like a UPS store now.
Yeah.
And out of that is where I started doing computer consulting. So I started my own business out of a local shop. And then I have been working in other local service providers that have a general sort of regional reach. I've worked for a couple internationals. I've worked for large national companies, but I have this huge passion for the entrepreneur who opens a door every day and is hoping and praying people are beating down his door so he can get something sold. And that's not an easy thing. So,
no.
I mean, it used to be about location, location, location. And I think that in today's era, it's no longer about location, location, location. And I think that what we're talking about on a weekly basis here changes the game. And it's no longer the high rent district that gets you all of the sales just because you put out a sign and open a door. So I'm excited. This topic, I dig it.
I bet you do. Of course you do.
Totally dig it.
And it's very true in that sometimes local businesses have to be local, right? The dentists, the doctors, the restaurants.
Absolutely.
Right? So there are still, of course, people that have to be local. Right. And they do have to run campaigns. They have to market, and they do have to do word of mouth. So, yes, you can be bigger than just your local market.
Right.
Yeah. And you can do both depending upon what's going on in the world.
Yeah, and I think that if you're a dentist, chiropractor, doctor, plumber, the folks that interact with you at your home or very near your home, I think that there's a way to sort of corner the market, leverage marketing in a way that no one of your competitors is doing, whether you're, dry cleaners, whatever. That allows you to get market share to a point where other folks go, "Oh my gosh, I have no idea what this person is doing," but they're charging a lot of money for the work that they do. They have sort of everyone in a barrel, and it's like fishing in a barrel, shooting fish in a barrel. And
Right.
I don't know how that works. And so when you have seen successful local campaigns or have dreamt of like the super uber cool campaigns, what do they look like?
First of all, before I answer that, I want to say
Yeah.
hi to Joel. Hi. Joel is here.
Oh,
Welcome.
that's great. That's awesome.
Thanks
I don't
for.
see any of the comments today, so
You
keep
don't?
keep going. None. So I don't know why, but that's okay. Don't stop show for me. Just keep
Well,
on keeping on, dude. Good.
that's my fear, right? The technology not working right. And by the way, Joel, if there's any audio feedback or anything going on, because I was just, and which I know I was looking to this side over here while you were chatting.
Yep.
I wanted to turn something off in my audio setup, and when I turn it off, I can't hear you. So, but that appears not to turn you off to what's going out in the broadcast. Joel says your audio is fine. So, all right, good.
Look, here's the reality of it. If I'm in front of a microphone, probably pretty good chance you can't turn me off. I have all kinds of buttons and whirls and what have you over here, but I will just continue to do this as long
Yeah,
as
I
there's
know.
a microphone.
I know.
It's all good.
I was just trying to make sure that we didn't get into that scenario that
Yeah.
the echo happened.
I totally
before,
get it.
so.
Thanks, Joel. You got us. Way to go.
We do appreciate that. So the key is different. Again, my primary background comes from running contests.
Yep.
And I found it very interesting that even using a quote viral marketing tool like UpViral, when I was working with Jason's the guy I'm talking about that runs this local thing. That didn't work. There it goes. The first campaign he ran, I think we got 168 leads in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
And I'm like, I was like, oh man, he's gonna think this sucks, right?
not for a local campaign. That's awesome.
And that local restaurant was like, holy crap, this is great. We got 168 new email addresses that we can now market to. And they were like, okay, when's the next one? And they got their wallet out and they're like, okay, let's go. Like, great.
Right.
So the key is that things are somewhat different. That doesn't mean that you have to go after the big numbers.
No.
Although I do think what Jason is doing, I still want him to package this up and turn it into something that he can sell as a package, because I think his lessons are phenomenal, and I hope to maybe have him on someday. Maybe
that would be great. It would be a lot of fun
to do guests.
Yeah, it would be fun to do that.
Oh, he's a wild guy too, but. There are so many opportunities because I think I've mentioned this example before, but after having worked with Jason for a while in my mastermind, one day I went to a restaurant, right? My wife and I are going to pick up dinner, bring it home, because I don't like to cook. She doesn't like to cook, but that's a whole nother story. And I went to this pasta. What, me digress? Went to this pasta place down the street, and they have a big sign on the side that says, local magazine, name of magazine insert here, picked us as the best pasta place in town, right?
Yep.
So when I walked in, there was a gentleman in front of me at the cash register, and it turns out I'm over eavesdropping. And the guy behind the counter says, "Well, I happen to be the owner." Blah blah blah, and they had this little quick conversation. So it's my turn to get to the cash register, and I said, "Would you mind if I asked you a couple of questions since I've just found out you're the owner? How big is your email list?"
Yeah.
He said, "What's that?"
Who needs an email list when I get endorsed by the local magazine?
Exactly.
I'm doing it. I'm advertising. I'm sending out Yellow Pages ads. I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a big sign outside that says, "If you're hungry, come in." You drive by. It's no problem.
Exactly.
Until
and
the pandemic hits.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, that guy is no longer in business. It is a different restaurant now, of course. But
yeah.
I did not intend to try to sell him a package or anything else. I said, I was just curious because I do marketing and,
Sure.
I primarily trying to build people's email list. And he's like, "Well, why would I do an email list?" I'm like, dude. Okay, so I gave him like 2 minutes of an explanation why he should be doing it, and whether he did it or not, I don't know.
Sure.
But that's I think the biggest struggle with local marketing, or working with these kind of vendors, is that they don't quite get it yet. So there's that educational piece.
Absolutely.
Traditional marketing, the flyers, all that stuff you just talked about, the billboards.
Hey,
come to our restaurant, right?
Yeah.
But once they get the idea, like Jason and the taco restaurant, it was like night and day, right?
Yeah.
They still want to do social media. They still want to grow their social media, but they also now get the email list. The fact that they can constantly be in front of people and offer coupons and offer more contests and stuff.
Yep.
That was like a light bulb moment for Jason.
For sure.
And I'm like, just to wrap this up, the package idea, right? So he's got the Facebook group for the local town. He spent years building it up into a, hey, everybody come over here because I got the latest news, right?
Sure.
Now he's got the audience of his town captured. And now the funnel of marketing starts. And he simply starts doing contests, and the one vendor goes, "Hey, Jason, I saw you ran this contest for this other guy."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now they are coming to him, begging him for... It's not that he has to do any marketing. They're coming to him.
Wait.
What?
For everyone who's on and listening to this, what he just said is a fallacy. He said he doesn't have to do any more marketing. No, what's happening is he's doing marketing based on the performance of his current business, right? So he doesn't. What I think what Mitch meant to say was he doesn't have to spend extra money on isolated marketing events, but all of the activities he's doing is building his brand and building a need, and people are picking up the phone because they heard about him. And when you hear about it, that's the word of mouth marketing we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, right? So
Shocker.
That's awesome. The best kind of marketing on the planet.
It is. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what we all wish for, right? We wish people to
Absolutely.
just be knocking down our door so we don't have to go do the cold calling, the stuff we don't like to do.
Yeah. And I'm working right now with a local business where they're a service provider, and people come in the door and they come into the lobby. They go to the receptionist and they say, "Hey, is so and so available, and can they help me with X?" And she looks at him and goes, "Do you know how busy we are? If you can, if you're where, we'd love to help you. If we can sit down and have this conversation in the next 3 months. Right now, we cannot help you." And he looks at him and says, "Well, they're like the best in town, right?" "Yeah, they're absolutely the best in town. I'll wait 3 months." "Okay, you'll wait 3 months." So there is a marketing funnel that these folks have that is 3 months long, and all they have to do, if sort of they feel like it's not so great, pick up the phone or send an email to those folks that are on the waiting list. and they come in, do their thing, and they're on their way. So,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, it's real stuff. It is real stuff. It's fun.
It
Really
is.
fun. So you're talking about specific contests, right? So, what do you think has been the success story in the contests that he's doing? Like, what can those folks that are watching and listening right now kind of take away from this conversation to go, man, I got to do some more of that?
Mhm. Number one, do
Yeah.
it.
That's not
Uh,
fair.
it is, well, it is fair. And I mean, using Jason as an example, when he first started, the guy knocked on his door and said, "When are we going to do the next one?" And they didn't do another one for a couple of months. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Jason, you're missing out.
Yeah.
I've preached at you multiple times. You got this guy begging you to do something, and what he was doing was going off and hiring video people and all this other
Yep.
stuff. And he ended up trashing all that because it was costing him a fortune. But first thing is to do it.
Yep.
It's a great question. I'm a little stumped. I think the second thing, at least in Jason's case, if I'm even remembering the question right, was to be building your own list. As if you're doing this local marketing stuff,
Yep.
just because you built helped out the taco restaurant, save those leads for your own business. Tell the vendor, hey, here's the leads you got, but is it okay if I keep them so that I can help other people? And once you start building your list, now you have got the real capture of the entire neighborhood.
Yeah.
That you can use, because then the next step that he and I had this conversation the other day, and I'm like dumbfounded, because he was like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating these little packages so that Joe runs the contest and the taco guy runs the contest, and I'm going to hire somebody to build each one of those out. I said, Jason, time out. Have one contest, put everybody together.
Yeah, make it an Uber contest.
Yeah, make it an Uber contest. It becomes more interesting. He's like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. And now you've reduced your workload. You can still charge the vendors for the work because you're putting in the work.
Yep.
But let's package them together. And if they want a solo thing, now you can charge them more, right? Because they want something exclusive. Okay, right. So now his eyes light up. I mean, he was just like, holy crap, Mitch, this is gold.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're going to end up with some customers who they don't want to do that because for some reason or another they feel like they're losing market share. They don't want to share customers. They're so they live in this false sense of reality that my customer is my customer and is always my customer, that they don't like shop somewhere else. Like, I mean, I go to Home Depot and I go to Lowe's depending on kind of what mood I'm in that day, right? They both sell the same thing. But if Home Depot said, "Hey, look, I better count on Bradley coming in every weekend," they'd be in trouble. So I dig the contest idea, and I also know how to help the local business who hates all of his neighbors, or at least the other entrepreneurs. He's not involved in the Chamber of Commerce. He doesn't want to participate in the Rotary. He doesn't want to be involved in society. He just wants to do his own thing. And on the local side, you can use a word of mouth kind of campaign to release a sort of how to hire a plumber, how to hire or how to find the best dentist, what questions to ask the chiropractor, sort of come up with a series of giveaways that isolate someone, and they can only get that plus a 20% off or whatever it might be in the bundle if they're in that zip code, right? And then all of a sudden, someone gets in and hey, we're gonna, here's your free guide to do it, and here's a discount. And then on the thank you page, the sort of magic page that you keep talking about, you provide them an opportunity to get the service for free. right? Instead of 20% off, now it's free. How could I get it for free? How can I come out, have somebody come and wash my windows, do my carpets, take care of my dry cleaning, do all of the plumbing work or my annual maintenance agreement for my HVAC all for free? How do I do that? And it's easy. All you have to do is share this with all your friends. And as soon as your friends sign up, they get you get extra entries or extra points for this thing, and you earn free annual whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um, those are the kinds of things that a lot of business owners don't even think about. They do billboard advertising, and they want people to be aware of them, but they're not doing this sort of direct response. This is who I am. This is what kind of stuff I do. I need for you to, raise your hand and say you're interested. As soon as you say you're interested, I'm going to reward you for that. And then as soon as you provide me some more word of mouth advertising, I'm really going to provide for you. And if you provide me a testimonial, maybe I'll double it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, those
Nice.
are the kinds of things that you can certainly work on with local businesses that sort of shun the rest of society. They don't wanna belong to these big contests. They just wanna do their own thing. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. I
Go
have a
for it.
question for you.
Yeah.
You've mentioned it, I've mentioned it, billboards.
Yeah.
Do you have local experience with people that are still doing billboards?
I have never, ever, ever done a billboard
Okay.
advertisement.
Yeah. I mean, they seem
And
like one of the worst investments ever, but
They yeah, unless you can figure out a hook that someone can read while they're driving 55 miles an hour on the freeway, trying not to crash into somebody, and remember what action to take.
right.
Right? The sort of, I see a lot of injury, attorneys, I see a lot of insurance companies, I see a lot of HVAC companies, and you're right, it seems to me like they get a lot of exposure. It would be like here's what I think it would be like. It would be like paying for Facebook ads or Google ads, and they only flash the ad in front of you for, like, 3 seconds. You can't click on it, you can't do anything about it, but the metrics say you were exposed to
Uh-huh.
thousands of new
Uh-huh.
customers. Like, "Oh my gosh, really?" How I mean, wouldn't that be weird if you were in a Facebook feed and then all of a sudden an ad just whoop disappeared? Like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, I was interested in that. What can you back?" I mean, you can't even back it up. You can't
No,
rewind.
you can't. Can't.
So, yeah, I think billboard advertising, I think brand awareness advertising sucks. I think it's the
Uh-huh.
worst use of your time and money.
I
So yeah,
agree.
I don't think that it's me personally, I don't think it's worth it. And I've had much more success sending direct letters, postcards, doing online advertising, and then going to conferences. That's the other thing. A lot of folks in the B2B kind of industry, if you in local businesses, if you figure out where all of your customers are hanging out, and then you provide them a way to exchange contact information or whatever for a prize. And this is funny, right? We do this online like it's so novel. People have been doing this for years at conferences, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you want to win an iPad, come over to my booth and give me a business card.
Yep.
As soon as we'll draw them out of there, I hooked you in to say that you get a chance to win this thing, and now I have your contact information, and you better believe you're gonna be part of a direct, targeted marketing campaign to have you use my goods or services.
Yep.
Or I wasted my time and energy at a conference.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Well, and
yeah, that's the right.
part of that, by the way, is a minor struggle, but who has time to enter the data from all of those business cards?
Yeah, so there
You know,
there are some there's some really, really cool tools, that will work with business cards, but here's the better idea, and this is where I think you might be onto something, is take an iPad to the conference, have an up viral campaign on your iPad, and all you have to do is say, "Hey, look, this is all we're doing. You know, put your information in here as soon as I have it, you're instantly in." And then if I'm gonna give you a code, and I want for you to tell all your friends to come back to my booth, and the more people who come back to the booth, maybe there's something else in it for you.
yeah, see
Um,
that? Yeah.
you know, and or hey, look, we're not going to do the draw right here live at the end of the conference. We're going to do it in a month, and I'm going to give you a chance to be able to get more chances to win this thing.
Yeah.
Look, if you're selling spas, you're doing. I mean, who knows what you're doing, but there
Right.
could be some really cool stuff that happens there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually went to the National Association of Broadcasters in Vegas several years ago.
I remember seeing pictures of that.
Do you?
Yeah.
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 Well,
that was awesome.
I actually did recorded a video there because Dodge Ram, and I should wear the t-shirt someday. I don't have it on. They gave me a t-shirt, and they had 5 or 6 attractive young ladies, booth babes.
Yeah.
Getting hey, do you want a free t-shirt? Do you want a free t-shirt? All you gotta do is, register for this contest. And they were giving away a $70,000 video truck, right?
Yeah.
And I stood there and I was like, they are spending a ton of money on this. Because I happen to know the booth that they had was probably about $70,000, $80,000 for the rental for 3 days.
Yep.
Young ladies, t-shirts, and giving away a $70,000 van. So they were spending money. But the hook was, people kept asking me where I got the Dodge shirt. So that was the attraction, right? That was the sort of the word of mouth thing that was going on, even though they didn't say, hey, go tell somebody where you got this shirt.
Yep.
But it was working for them. And then, of course, I was marketing because I keep wearing the damn shirt. I got to tell you one more quick story. And Joel just said, yes, wow. A lot of money they spent on those. And I just unsubscribed from them, by the way. So I was on their list for several years. You were talking about the billboards. Funny story. Yeah. I was driving to Kansas, to Nebraska a couple of weeks ago for my daughter's thing, blah, blah, blah. Driving down the road, there's a billboard. You're looking at the billboards. This billboard is something resort. I've forgotten the name of the resort. And at the bottom of the billboard, it says, visit www. Of course, wasted. No, why does anybody do www anymore? But then it said, long name, whatever the name was, Finkelhop at Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri.com. The name, they had to squish this. I'm like, how? Driving 55, right? Yeah. Driving 55.
What did that say? Well, why did it matter? Yeah. I can't click on it from here. I don't know what to do with it. I can't remember more than about 4 digits when I'm driving.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
And it was it was like 15, 16 characters.
Yeah.
That you had to go type in. Anyway, don't do it.
No, it's mind-numbing nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for local businesses, I was going to say, you take this sort of idea that sort of one-off at a conference, and you do the same thing at the cash register, and all of a sudden you end up with this really fast, easy way to build a list, have people participate, and what does it cost you? It costs you an up viral campaign and a mobile device, a tablet. It could even be an iPad mini. I mean, they're not that expensive.
Right.
And have people sign up on their own, and then they get to the thank you page and all this really cool stuff like, hey, look, share now and get a 15% discount on what you're purchasing right now. Okay, awesome. Here you go. And then just show me the email that came through. Here's the code, and you get your 15% off. I mean, there's all kinds of really cool ways to implement what it is we're talking about. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of money, but it's super, super effective. Super effective.
Exactly. Thanks, Joel. Joel has to tune around. Thanks for popping in, Joel, and thanks for making time to comment. We appreciate comments. We love to know what you're thinking. If those of you are out there, I see lots of you are watching. Don't be silent. How are we doing?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we probably have a whole bunch of folks who have a digital business. They're like, dude, I mean, this is interesting, but how in the world am I going to do this with my own digital business?
Yeah.
And here's what I would suggest is your digital business is no different than a local business, except that the local folks are paying for a lease, you're paying for a website. That's the
Right.
fundamental difference.
Right.
And your rent is just cheaper than theirs, and you can't generally meet people face to face and build an instant connection with people based on nonverbal communication and rapport. You got to
Right.
earn it, right?
Right.
It's fundamentally different, but
Right.
but a lot of the techniques are exactly the same, right?
Yeah.
What things can you offer people? How can you go to a digital conference? I mean, is that digital conference a group in Facebook or somewhere else? Is it you putting on an event with other of your friends? How do you put together an offer that people are willing to crawl through broken glass and give you a you know a, an easy an email address and or a phone number or a zip code, and you're good to go, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's the same stuff.
Yeah.
Same stuff.
I want to just briefly say, by the way, don't forget
Yep.
about QR codes.
Yeah, QR codes are great. I dig it.
QR codes, and you see them when I pop up something like, for example, if you want to go back to the old episodes of our podcast, you can always just go to hearmitch.com. But there's a QR code there. One of the things that I've been telling my local business is if you're going to run an up viral contest or any kind of a contest, at the cash register, simply print out the QR code that says win dinner for two and a movie and a whatever. Scan this with your phone. Put it in your menus. Make it easy for people to register, because that takes them straight to the opt-in. Bang, they're going to town. Because if going back to the billboard example, if you have a sign or you tell them you got to go to www.tacotuesday.com/register or win or something, they're going to not do it. QR codes are great.
And a picture is worth 1,000 words. And in countries outside the U.S. before the pandemic, QR codes were like the bomb.com, right? I mean, they were everywhere.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we went to the pandemic and people were trying to figure out, well, how do I give somebody a menu without them having to touch anything? Now we're all, kind of wandering around with our phones, and it's just a natural thing for us, right? So here's the other thing I would suggest, especially if you're like doing a menu or something like that, or it's on the countertop. Do like we do in other campaigns, start testing some stuff. The hook or the headline is what's going to get people to scan the thing, right? So try, get the free whatever, or what big benefit and how many days or whatever it is. And now all of a sudden you have a way to test the campaign very quickly, because you can start to see which of those you're getting more opt-ins on, or getting more people to click through to or scan on. And that's going to start to teach you something about your own business and your customers, what they're most interested in and what will hold on to them. So don't forget that you can test, even if it's analog, you can still test it and make sure, hey, look, this week we're going to try this one. And this week we're going to try this one. And if the number of the folks coming into your shop or into your restaurant or whatever it is are about the same, and you end up with more leads in one week than the other, it seems like the message you got will work. So,
well, one of the things
whatever.
Excuse me. One of the things I like about UpViral, by the way, if you pay attention to some of the training I have done, plug, there's a tracking code, right? So you can actually put a tracking code on the menus. You could put a different tracking code on the QR code at the register. You can get that data. And the second thing that you've just said is to freaking pay attention to the data. Because without looking at the data, it's sad, but we have to say this. I've seen so many people that just go, well, I got 50 leads. And I go, okay, how many of those were referred? Oh, I don't know. I didn't care. Like, wait a minute, where did they come from? Oh, I don't know. What was your most popular social sharing thing? Oh, that doesn't matter, does it?
Right.
Yes.
Yes, it does. It
It,
matters a lot.
it
Matters a lot.
vastly matters. Exactly.
Yeah.
So please
Yeah,
don't
I know.
forget the data. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and for local businesses, you guys are, I mean, the owners of local businesses are printing stuff all the time. We think that we're all digital, we're not. We're printing flyers, we're printing menus, we're printing placemats, we're printing envelopes, we're printing letters, we're printing business cards, we're printing all kinds of stuff. Every time you print something, it's a great opportunity to include these kinds of things, right? This is that
Yep.
word of mouth marketing that we're talking about. Take advantage of the activity you're already doing and try to create something extra cool with it that gives you a side benefit.
Right.
And what you'll find is as you continue to test this stuff, the minor amount of money it costs to print the extra b- gives you all kinds of really cool success stories on the back end.
Yes.
So, it's continue to think about what's happening, and then one more thing on the sort of local side of things that's I think more important than a lot of the other stuff that we've talked about is go and look at a money mailer. So, you guys get in the mail a money mailer, and they're a national company, and they do what they call every door direct. So they're sending households these packages of stuff.
Right.
Go and look at it for a couple different reasons. One is this is what your neighbors want. People would not be paying for the advertising in this envelope if they didn't, if it didn't work. So if you're trying to figure out how to bundle a deal
Yep.
on one of these major contests, go through the money mailer and try to understand who in your neighborhood is advertising, or who in the right neighborhood, maybe one of your friends or whatever, tell them to bring their money mailer to you and figure out what it is they are trying to sell. And then, like Mitch said earlier, you know, put together these really cool Uber contests where you can win 5 or 6 of the things that were in the money mailer. Holy crap. How cool would that be, right? So you already understand the message that's working. You already know what products are selling or services are selling, and just be a little creative on how you could put those things together and make a couple phone calls. "Hey, look, man, we're gonna do this. I know you're spending money on money mailer. How about we try this, put it and maybe we combine our costs and put it into one ad in the
Right.
money mailer,
Right.
and now all of a sudden
Right.
we're we're the talk of town
Right.
because we figured it out, and we're only having to pay once for everyone being advertised to, and everyone, we're building a list for everyone." I mean, how
Right.
cool is that? That would be awesome.
I You know more than I do about that local stuff. Does
Yeah.
the money mailer do they have the option where you could get the first card, pay more to get the first card in every stack?
Yes, I don't know if it's a money mailer or not, but
Okay.
there are absolutely every door direct packages
Right.
where the top card is the
Top.
expensive card.
Right.
Yep.
So when you're combining, right?
Right.
If you get 3 or 4 of
Yeah.
you, hey, you got a little extra money, make yourself be the top card.
You know what? And what's interesting is you could probably pay less than being in the bottom
Exactly.
card
Exactly.
and still be the premium card, right? I mean, it would just, yeah, absolutely. Good. It's really good stuff, and I think that's some sort of wisdom beyond everyone's years that you just dropped right there. Is how do we
Oh,
leverage somebody else's money to
yeah.
do some stuff that we couldn't do on our own, for sure.
I'm sorry. I may have looked a little distracted. I was trying to keep it here in front of me and I think I've shown it here before, but I have a business card, right?
Yes.
Local
Yeah.
business,
Yep.
realtor. On the back it
Yep.
says, "Hey, would you mind referring me?" Right? We talked about
Yep.
that.
Yep.
I got this on my Amazon box the other day.
Oh, nice.
Enter the giveaway. For those of you
Yeah.
listening on the podcast, this box, I cut it out from the box. Enter the
Yeah.
giveaway, then get away. It's a picture of a car, and
Yep.
there's a QR code to make it simple to go enter.
Yep.
But the key, which is exactly what Bradley just said, is pay attention to what the other people are doing, right? Yep. I cut this out because this is good for me to show people that contests work, right?
Yep. Yeah.
My Amazon package has a contest from a different... It's not an Amazon contest. Nope. These guys paid to be there. So
yeah, they're paying Amazon to be on the packaging. I mean, think about how smart that is for Amazon. This is kind of like your buddy, right? Who's marketing the local Facebook ad. They're paying They're paying Amazon to give away a car, but not give away a car. And yeah, I mean that's brilliant. I dig it. Yeah. Everyone wins.
But the real point there, like I said, is to pay attention to what other people are doing.
Absolutely.
Because odds are, if you see it, it's working.
Yep. Yeah, and the other is true. If you're not seeing what you're selling online and people are paying for advertising and what have you, you're probably trying to sell to an audience that doesn't like to buy. So be very careful. If you sort of say, hey, look, I found this really cool audience and this really cool product or service, and there's nobody in it. Uh-oh. That's not usually a good sign. You can't really create a market these days. It's really, really hard. You can differentiate yourself from the other people in the market and serve a very specific group of people, but it's really, really hard to invent something new. Doesn't work.
And it's interesting, if I can take a slight sidecar. Why I ever go?
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, be careful, everybody in the audience. First time Mitch has ever done this.
I actually have gone through that conversation with myself about Thank You Page Magic.
Yep.
Because there's nobody else teaching this. There's really, if you go look at the gurus that are teaching internet marketing stuff, nobody. I have it right here, by the way. I don't think I've talked about this, but here's a book.
Oh, yeah.
Russell Brunson, Traffic Secrets. Secrets.
Yeah, it's not one of his traffic sources. It's not.
No mention whatsoever of word of mouth marketing. Right? There's nothing.
And here's what I think you should do. I think you should get a hold of Russell's team, and you should say, when you do a revision to that, we think that it would be a really great idea for you to add a new traffic stream, and it's word of mouth marketing or viral marketing, and you want to be the guy that provides them the content. Now, here's why I say that is that I have heard Russell say more than once that those books that he is putting out, like Traffic Secrets and .com Secrets and others, he is not writing all of the content himself. He has figured out how to leverage his relationships in the market, right? And let other people do its thing. And in doing its thing, letting other people write, they're getting credit. There's something in it for them, and there's something in it for Russell. So if I were you, I would get a hold of his team and say, dude, amazing book. It's missing a chapter.
Yeah.
Missing a chapter.
Well, it's interesting. I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with the gentleman who has been on Russell's stage.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, Mitch, you got the tiger by the tail.
Yep.
And I said, well, I'm just getting started. He says, well, imagine getting on Russell Brunson's stage. And I said, yeah. I'm going to walk out on Russell Brunson's stage. What do they call it? Funnel Hacking Live.
Yeah.
And say, how many of you want more traffic? And everybody raised their hand. I said, do you all have this book? The guy over here wrote this book. Did you know there's a missing chapter?
That's right. Yeah, there's a chapter. Let me tell you about the secret chapter. It's not in this version.
Yeah.
And it may not be in any version, but you heard it here.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They'd go crazy because we know, you and I know, that this stuff works. The people that come in from referral marketing, viral marketing, word of mouth marketing, whatever phrase you wanted, they buy more.
Yep.
The authority from the person that referred them to
Yep.
you
Yep.
escalates your own authority by light
Yep.
years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they're more likely to refer others. So,
Yep.
I mean, why
Yeah.
are you not tapping into this traffic? It's
Yeah,
amazeballs.
it's like a traffic and copywriting hack all in one. And the reason I say that is that most people who study copywriting understand how important authority is, right? We rob authority from other people on brand new products and services, and that authority comes from testimonials, or it comes from name dropping or brand dropping on the registration page, like, hey, look, it's used by or heard on or whatever, and you see all these sort of logos along the way, right? So the same is true with this referral marketing. Is that the sort of the copywriting hack in there is that you have instant authority and trust in the industry because you it was referred by a friend. So
Right.
it's sort of a double hack. It's a traffic hack and it's a copywriting hack, and it's good stuff. It's
It
amazing.
is it is amazing stuff. And that's why I get so wound up when I do this, talk about it. Uh and the fact that when you open people's eyes to it, they're like, "Well, that's obvious." It's not
Right.
it's not a shiny object that they have to go buy some extra stuff and, spend 6 years learning it. You can implement this stuff very simply right now today in the next 5 minutes. You could go add a
Yeah.
simple ask on your thank you page and says, "Hey, since you
Yeah.
bought my thing or you downloaded my thing, think of somebody else who
Right.
might benefit from what you just received and
Yep.
invite them over."
Yep.
That's it. All you
Absolutely.
got to do.
Absolutely.
Get started.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if they need help getting started, how can they get a hold of you to do that?
Thank you, Bradley. The simple thing is to reach out to me at contactmitch.com. I got all
Awesome.
kinds of stuff going on. I got a webinar coming up. By the way, if I can throw that up again.
Yeah.
MitchWebinar.com for those of you listening on audio. And if it's after July 7th, well, come on by, because guess what? I'll be doing it again. And there'll be something there at that URL for you to benefit from.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then I am starting the 7-episode series of the Viral Marketing Masterclass a week from Saturday. And if you want in, it's free. Just jump in at word of mouth marketing secrets. I can't even say it. Wordofmouthmarketingsecrets.com, and or send me an email at Bradley at Waldrop Communications, or give me a phone call, 916-314-0413, because my phone still works.
Nice.
All
It
right,
is so.
y'all. I think that's about it, isn't it?
Oh no, Bradley, come on. You and I could talk all day long about local marketing.
We could, and I would enjoy it, but everyone else will be incredibly tired. They'll be
All right.
exhausted. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Yep,
Joel
absolutely.
earlier was commenting. Anybody else is, of course, free to comment after the fact.
Yep. Yeah,
And
drop into the Facebook groups or whatever and comment on the videos. We'll do what we can to answer them.
And we'll be here next week.
We
Same bat
will.
time, same bat channel.
That's right. That's exactly right. Take care, you guys.
Thank you, Bradley.
All right.